This is my Atomic Armoury's 1911. Just thought I'd do a video on how to strip it after use, to give it a clean and to give it a quick oil as well to maintain your blaster. The more you maintain it, the longer it's going to last you. So, all that you really have to do is to take the top slide off, you need to remove this pin. To remove this pin, you'll see in the slide there's a latch notch and a half moon shaped notch. The latch notch is for when it's all the way back to latch the slide. The half moon is what we want to actually get the pin out. So first of all, remove your mag, slide your slide back until you get the half moon lined up with the pin, and then push the pin out from the other side. And there's your pin out. Then all you simply do is, because you've already got it pulled back, you just push it forward and off it comes. Rightio. So the top of it is pretty simple. Get yourself a bit of paper towel, or if you're going to use a cloth, make sure that it's lint free. You don't want to leave anything in here. As you can see, there's a lot of gel residue. You're not going to be able to get everything out, but you'll be able to get a majority of it out. So just give it a bit of a clean. Give them a wipe out. If you've got an air compressor is really good for blowing this out. I've got one out in the shed, but I'm not going out there. Alrighty, as you can see, that got rid of most of it out of there. And what else you want to do is get in these slides and give them a good wipe out as well. As you can see, there is a bit of grime in there. Not too much, because I religiously clean this blaster so that it lasts me a long time. But even that, like, that's only just from about 6 mags going through it. So the more you look after it, the longer it's going to last you. So just give everything a good wipe down. Make sure you don't leave any, see, a little bit of paper towel tore off. Always make sure you go over it and make sure that there is nothing left inside of it, because that will just cause you issues. Now, for the top, you want to remove this spring so we can remove the barrel. You simply pull the spring forward off the little pin, then just lift it up, and the whole spring slides out. And then at the front, you've got this little circular piece here. You just push it back and she'll slide out as well. Now for the actual barrel itself, you've got this front piece here. All that you have to do is tip it to the side and then just pull it straight out. It's got a little locking piece there. And then simply, your barrel just slides straight out the front. If you want to take your inner barrel out of your outer barrel, you just undo the little screw there, take that pin off, and then your barrel will slide out. But I only do that when it really, really needs it. Besides that, you can get most of your stuff out. And you just go along, just give it all a good wipe down, and a good, even though it's just oil on there, you know, a bit of oil with a bit of wear, the stuff can end up almost like a grinding paste. So get everything a good clean. As I said, make sure you don't leave any of your paper towel behind. Try and get rid of much gel residue as you can. Now in this top slide, you've got tracks. And the same thing, just like at the bottom, you really want to give them a clean. So you get your paper towel and you really get it into the track and give it a wipe. You know, look at that. As I said, this has only had about 6 mags through it, and look at that already. This is why if you don't do it regularly, you're just going to wear all your parts out. So give it all a good wipe. Make sure you got no gel residue anywhere. Then your spring guide. Okay, just give it a wipe. Not exactly sure what this Teflon washer is called, but it's the one that really takes a pounding. So it's probably worth having a couple of them on hand. I might get a couple because this one will probably need replacing soon. It's starting to get an indent in it already. So just give everything a nice clean. Rightio, that's all pretty good. So we'll look at the reassembly now, but what you want to do is use some oil. I use the Abbey silicone gun oil, number 35. I find it to be quite good. Rightio, the first thing that you want to do is, this is basically your cylinder and piston. And if you pull this forward, you will actually expose your O-ring. Just like in the other gel blasters, that's your O-ring for your seal. So all you want to do is just put a bit of oil on that. I like to put a bit of oil pretty much on anything that's gonna move. So up each side, and then I close it up, and then I run some along the top as well. And just make sure she's nice and free. Rightio, you also want to put some oil in that track too. You don't want to go overboard with the oil, but you want to make sure that, you know, there's a good amount on there. Like one bottle of this oil should last you a pretty long time. So those tracks are oiled, the piston and cylinder are oiled. With this one, I just like to pop just a little bit of oil down beside, in between the inner and the outer barrels. And just give that a bit of a work. Then you simply slide that back in. Make sure she's in place. Grab your little front piece. You can put a bit of oil in there, but I've already got some oil in there from last time. You sit him in there, and then just straighten him up. Then you get the other piece. I like to put a bit of oil on here because that's what sits on the outer barrel. So just a little bit of oil on there. And then put it in. Make sure everything's all lined up correctly. Put your spring back on your spring guide. I like to put a little bit of oil on the spring and the spring guide as well, because you do get a lot of friction in there. And just working backwards and forwards a bit. And spin him around, get him nicely coated. Chuck him back in. Compress the spring, line up the pin, and there you go. Now we'll look at the lower half. Now I've already cleaned it, so all you want to do, I put a little bit of oil, drop of oil on the hammer pivots, on these little lugs here, because they move up and down. And then your oil slowly works its way down to where it needs to go. You've also got the hammer itself. I like just to put a little bit of oil down on the hammer. Can be a little bit tricky. Then just a little bit in the track. Then just have a look at your blaster and see where the wear is. Mine's got a little bit of wear here, so because that's where the top slide rubs against. So I put a little bit of oil on the top. Looks like we've also got a little bit of something rubbing in here as well. So, again, just a bit of oil in there. A little bit down the bottom. Looks like there's a bit of a rubbing down there too. Rightio, and that's pretty much done. So now all you need to do is slide your top back on. These 1911s have got this pin that sits up. All that I simply do is just push down with your finger and then just slide it back. Rightio, and then bring your top slide back so that your half moon lines up with the hole. grab your pin. And just get back a little bit more. Pop your pin in. Rightio. Throw your mag in, because the mag actually is what supplies the spring for this pin to go up and down. And now we have a blaster that has been serviced and is ready to go for another game. Hope you found this helpful. Any comments would be great. I'd like to know what people want to see, if I'm doing a good job or what I can improve on. So yeah, just leave me a comment. Thank you very much for watching.